Psychology was like trying to study a leaf that had fallen from a tree and was either dried out or not dried out, and trying to understand man like you try to understand a leaf without even knowing about the tree. How could you make sense of what a leaf is unless you understood that it comes from a tree? And that was his analogy for trying to study man and man's consciousness apart from God.
I was married to a policeman, and he would like to go to conventions and dinner and dance parties and so forth. And he was a very good-looking guy, and I went for confidence. I never really had too much confidence in myself as a female. And so I would go to these affairs, and I'd sit at a table. I didn't know a soul, and he would be prancing around, going from table to table. You know, had a tremendous personality. And I would sit there like I'm never going back to this place in there. Oh, what am I doing here? You know, stuff like that. So I said to Ralphie, the next time you go, don't count me in on it. Oh, Puss, he says, come on, I'd love to have you there. I said, I'm there all by myself. I said, everybody else has a partner there. So I bring it to Dr. Horror. And he says, I tell him the story. I'm sitting there and I feel isolated. Nobody's talking to me. I can't bring up a conversation. And he says, have you ever walked through a garden? I said, of course I've walked through a garden. He says, do you see the beautiful flowers? I says, yes. He says, do the flowers pay attention to you? So I said, no, they don't. He says, well, what do you think about the flowers? I says, they're beautiful, and I'm so grateful that I can be there and see them. He says, well, so are these people, they're flowers. And you appreciate them, and you see their beauty. Every time I talk about this guy, I want to cry. So I said, okay. I said, I never thought of it like that. So I went to another convention, another party, and go with that idea. It was fabulous. Not only that, but my husband came over to me, said, Puss, I want to take you around to meet the people, my friends. It's the first time. So the whole thing changed, just with a change of thinking.
And this is where metapsychiatry is so clear that everything is a thought, that we live, in fact, in a mental universe, that's what's primary, not the phenomenal world, not the material world, but what's going on in our individual consciousness.
Waiting to receive divinely inspired thoughts is one of the most wonderful things in life, whether it's in business, whether it's in marriage, whether it's in raising children. It's knowing that you don't have to react. You can respond with a loving idea. But the loving idea is a universal idea. It's not a personal idea. And that's just incredible. It's hard to remember. It's hard to wait. It's hard to listen. Too often we want to react. But boy, is it worth it if you can just listen. It is just incredible.
Theologians needed to see that God is consciousness with a capital C. And psychologists needed to see that consciousness ultimately is God, is a universal, non-dimensional awareness.
Who then designs of our problems? Ignorance. Ignorance is the designer of our problem, and every individual has a choice of being ignorant in his own particular way. And there's a great freedom in choosing our affliction.